director isn't up here. This would be our second years introducing our first years, which they're going to do. And we've decided to embrace the spirit of improvisation by not telling them that until tonight. So we've got it all taken care of and all lined up. So the second years will be introducing our first year poets with printed out bios and ad-lib comments and improvisations as necessary. So, hold on to your hats. Without further ado, I'm going to invite Gussie up. Gussie Beaver, one of our second years, to come up and introduce Ivy Braxton Harrington.
Hi, I'm Gussie. I'm a second year. I agreed to do this because I love you all, so, and Roy asked me, so, yeah, I'm introducing Ivy. She grew up in Richmond, Virginia, with a fondness for her family's roots in Baltimore. Her poetry developed out of her childhood connection to nature and sunlight. She explores the nuance of their intermingling and tries parsing out the scenes of the natural world. She graduated Magna Cum Laude from Cornell University. Oh my God, I didn't know you did. Research thesis that combined the areas of her two majors, linguistics and literature. Recently, she had been finding richness in the works of Seamus Heaney and owes her love and appreciation of meter and rhyme to Dickinson, Housman, and Frost. Yeah, she's great at imagery and she loves Emily Dickinson. That's all I can ad-lib. Thanks, Gussie. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna see if I can adjust that house.
Please take your time.
Can you adjust the house lights? Did you try?
Yes.
Okay.
So do I just start, or do I like to say something first? Or
It's your time.
Yeah, so these poems that I've been writing this semester are very personal, and I, like Gussie said, I do like to write about nature, but my poems have also taken a very devotional turn. So yeah, this is me kind of just pouring out my heart for y'all. Okay, this first one is called Full Devotion. O Father, fill with graces this heart, and please employ these hands to write your praises, this mouth to sing your joy. Imbue with light your daughter, look not upon her stains, for who I am to speak upon the things in heaven gained. Blot out all her misgivings, judge not her wayward thoughts, be pleased in every struggle, lifting up this wretched heart. O Father, ever-loving, O Son who is divine, O Spirit unifying, make thy joys forever mine. Next one is called Incense Prayers. A diffusive bloom in each heart drifts homeward, pulled heaven-bound, misty plume in silent wafting, soft dispersive, slow surrender of incense, burning weighty, drawn up and tumbling, aroma seeping lung deep in smoky tendrils to the heart songs trickle up and spill out, and suddenly cradled, each prayer sighs in the hands of God. This next one is called When Pleasure Fails to Fill. Strewn about the floor, tears, droplets, reflecting light, spilling over the window, catch empty, laughing sheen, cold gleam, refracted amidst memory, but here in the mind it is cloudy. Where string lights bleat hollow across whimpering music, and the beer is stale, and eyes are flat, and dark body abandoned, wholly forgotten, temple shivers, heart coughs, scratches, cup bottom for whispering echo of childlike joy, gone, gone, finds about the floor are tears strewn and strung with regret. Carpenter of my soul. traced floor plan and iridescence, took soul and heart valve, washer and wrench, till life seeped in warm and trickling, imbued, spirited, diaphanous in body, peacefulness swells. His presence is weighty, holds in place, enrobes lullabies about the heart. The sweetness washes and the restoration nestles into place. Find that he's craving the love of you endlessly, always after the heart. For that sweetness, for Jesus, you'd gladly change everything. For a love so unleaving, divinity cleaving, his love to your heart for eternity. Just a few months have passed and a melody rings, paradoxical silence, upending your grief, swept away with his love as your lead. I think we're going to start getting into a couple of nature poems now. You towering thing, did you know of your leaves, that they're honeying? Do you know of each gradient of sunset you're mimicking? An exhale of wind and your gold is scent fluttering, each leaf syruped soft until orange is sputtering. Droplets of light and a swirling of wind. Did you know that it's time, you towering thing? Okay. This one's called Breath Prayer. Almost a gasp, no fickle aerated intake. The following of a breath feathering its way to heaven, and on it a little whispering prayer. Some little formless puff of air unravels itself from lungs, who breathe in love, reckless loving and abandoned to God, who is love and spoke love and speaks love. He listens, unwrapping its little tellings of the day. This one's called Buttercup. Petals in a tender unfurling, rolling out from buds, slow in measured openings. 5 hands of cupped sunlight caught within petals, open to the blue expanse. In time for rain, the first soft jewels start their delicate rolling, glass likened to droplets in a multitude. Each small and ripe for bursting, lets loose its water and light, and head over heels, each clear curvature, each bead heaves down, petal and stem, waxy and glistening, drinking and reflecting water and light. This is called Golden Hour. Out from the horizon, shadowed light arrives in ambered, furtive breaths and softens time. Saffron steeped in air and blooms, suspended, aureate essence in lilting threads, brimming, diaphanous, sweeping of light, dripping honey gold over trees, wastes itself in my kitchen, suffusing my cabinets, rivulets, beckoning taste, translucent paint of yellows and oranges, wash across walls smelling of lilies, and wet earth whispering, here, light, warmth, here, secretive, but only in the way of perennialism. Okay. This one's called On Pondering the Autobiography of St. Therese of the Little Flower. Pray my love will be made like the lilies, that my love be a crystalline pond, that my love, as the flicker of white on the water, reflect only light from beyond. While running towards that perfection, full surrender of heart and of love, till a life that is reaching for heaven's affection will suffer for treasures above, till my sacrifice flowers are falling to the feet of beloved adored, for beloved will always be loving his bride for always and ever and more. Thank you.
And team. And I have the honor of introducing Isabel. So Isabel is a poet paying close attention to her dreams and the landscape they unravel within. She is interested in cliches, cyber ecologies, anthropogenic, horror, and mediumship. Sometimes she uses Photoshop to render celestial bodies. She has lived in San Francisco, Madrid, Seattle, where for a few years she worked at Wave Books. Ladies, let's put our hands to welcome this wonderful poet.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to read some poems. The first is called Alphabet. It's after a short film made by David Lynch, and the epigraph is, please remember you're dealing with the human form, and that's from the film. A glitch opens into a pixelated graying, bad dream, cut into a sort of patchwork. The alphabet a shadow over my face. Letters scale operatic, creeping, they plan themselves spatially. The sun squared into a jump rope octave. I form a body like this. I'll show my tongue now. The flies inch in and claim air in spasms. A wail like an oscillating door, while I'm built into a body, A and then B going on. A then B implanted. Blinking lets smoke out of A into lowercase. The mirror begins to frighten me. It's nighttime, I'm dotted with promise. Tell me what you think of me. This is called Teeter on an Imperative Mood. Lounge toward a Niagara opening. Spider the clone with a thimble. Harbor a puckered allowance. Hairpin the tell of decay. Gloss the sewage run. Flower outward. In the distance, a squeaky inkling. And now I'm going to read some untitled poems, two. So this is the first. The hand, in all of its bearing, moves towards becoming of a hand again and again. The hand moves towards the becoming of a becoming, moves toward itself. The hand, like a snuff light, unbecomes into ether. In a network, it becomes a tether for another hour, symbolically less refrained. The hand becomes the hand to become, becomes. In all this instance, I thought I was being watched, but the face has been becoming and has been mine. That is what the face does. It becomes mine. It speaks from another mouth, which is also mine, which I become and unbecome sequentially. I became once by unbecoming. The way I became was by sculpting a blush. The way I became was through an unbecoming, a splice and a pass. I became through a sprocket. In belted time, I became mouth and face and hand. I was haunted by, in a becoming way. I was shaped by the haunt. I became the shape that haunted me. I became metronomic. I became a beating wing. I became the minute and the dew, the phantom and the trestle. To become became me, to become with no finality. Okay. The air in error expands through the longitude of now, seeps into the collective now, like a mass cellophane, solemn with slant visibility. Solemn, the air closed into fragment. Out of any enclosure, violence issues through the clock cracks. I took plated, I took everything, eyes glazed over with a reeling reciprocity to systemic murmurs. The aroma buries me into a waxy binding, a stale gravity pulling at my person. They thought the bath watertight, the archive spooled around a center. Any laxity, dumb bird, arise from a source waving out miasmic consciousness. Engraved stone on stone, market the rose's thorn, the tangerine spirit. Copies of data marble across the web clouds that thread our world. This one, dig out its fuel, bury our dead in its pits. I'm left lonely for my antecedents, for the winds that mark my going. It's untitled, the wind, the air, and scores of divergence and tethered to a gripping. In palimpsest we congregate, in horror we let each other make each other die. It's history teething on silhouettes. I've abandoned the antenna whiskers, the compulsive metronome, the thin endorsement of the lobby. Fish the cord from the earth bones, solemn the way we endure split. Okay, sorry. This one's called dolly, like a camera dolly, which is like a track or something. It's a way to make the camera follow the subject. A sparkle of piety in the antecedent, long stretch of how to be in storage, record of the stars porpoising pitter-patter. That's life taken by lozenge. A camera traces hemming land until Spanish government surveils Moroccan border by soft steps curled in sandbox. How romantic. Tyranny creates an appearance that morphs absolute. I've allowed for it, recording with the filter all glossy, lost track and forward sequence, brim along the periphery, an apparatus for following subject and action, but Finn is at the wire fence with U.S. flag, at the metal fence on concrete, at the river flood water level, at the bar fence, at the mesh fence, at the wooden pole fence, at the metal studs barbed wire rings overlapping like ven. Trip over a mentality, aperture gulps at pigments on the ridge, the forlorn deuces out. How can the poem not be beside me? How can I not stand over it all shadowy? The way algorithm falters harbor loosely, Jaren, the hooves say speedy, elongate the request tribunal. Obvious craters crossing a notion, land so spiffy I can pulse, repulse, hallucinating syntax, clasping towards a seat in space, pitch sharp like a cat and meter, the film rolling. I'm here for an alteration, an apparatus, a twin on smoked glass, not my breath, but the breath of me. I'm here for a gut magician, a transfusion of a parasitic degree, a heavily skip over the guard. I'm here for the wind mostly, touched through the sadness of screen. Okay, Sarah, I don't know if you, a lot of these poems are like, now that I'm reading them, I'm like, a lot of these are probably from that class, or like notes I'm taking from that class. So this is another one, kind of, automaton it's called. It came like a suffusion. Have you been to the core is what I meant. That drearing language, that hanging softly, I've laced in it, right pillowing. It came like a transmission. Who is the din? Lights on. Furnished plea, the coherence of a sentence. It's dragging me out. That din, electrical, slips right through me. It came coherent. Okay, camera, haven't I said this before? I thought it came like a distinction, my face meeting the sieve now. Sudden is how it felt. Separating in metal and so finer, sudden. And then was it a victory, an emulsion, transferred? Think molten, the back of a spoon. It came to me in rockets leaping. I want the shell to be pretty. It came to me in the hotel laundry, doling out the cotton. This oral gumdrop experience, this aluminum weaving and the waves still watch me. Breach, I mean sand, I mean another tongue time. I think I've written this poem before. I mean, it came to me or something. Have you been to the core is what I meant. The currents that whir through the day collide here, but I can't touch them. They jelly morph, worm between figures sculpted. Seen, I think I was saying that. Okay, this is the last one I will read, and I am working on it right now, like this week. And it's about Bachelor in Paradise. Anybody watching this? I don't know what else to say about it. Oh, it's a long poem, but I think maybe it's actually like individual poems. I don't know if that matters, but it's called Paradise. That's the working title. I find it dusty, the borders of my body and the whir sound, revisions of movement miming your salty finger in my mouth. Watch me, I'm sucking on it. There's always an amber droning all silky along the beach perimeter, lettering our faces. She sees words, they appear to her on our foreheads, fluttering. The The island's function is more of an address to the limits of our relations than an understanding of water meeting land. 6 weeks to find love, by way of the vulture, by way of creating circumference and then diving towards prey. It's ambitious the way the seagull calls me, my body a metallic form, gelatinous in the unreal. I'm a type of paper. I'm your type on paper. The poem a possibility coiling forward, tits first. This screen's beach is the drone's beach. The beach appears not as a system, but beach as the performance of beach. Light feeds to more light. The day posed to what it was always meant to be. I'm here, there's only 5 others left. Who's your breakfast daddy? Earth so desolate now that I'm caught thinking about it. My mouth emits a strange gas, hovers over the imagination of an expletive, rushing. The promise of broadcast shapes our contortions. We model but can't place the arc it hides between sand grains and clouds fogging over the screen. The season feeding production, a monotony engineered to release into hourglass. Will you accept this disintegrating net? Will you accept this leaky battery? I'm trying to find my person, this simulation of memory, a floating pollutant, broken into a chilly metronome, 10010. The strobing equation translates a silver glow into seconds. Amber asks the shore, "Can I steal you for a second?" She stuffs a jellyfish in her pocket and runs.
Hi again. I'm going to be introducing Camille now. She's from Toronto, and she holds a BA in English from the University of Toronto and is an MFA candidate at the University of Notre Dame, where she is an Action Books editorial fellow and reads her poetry for Notre Dame Review. Her work has appeared in Canadian Literature, Prism International, the League of Canadian Poets, the Malahat Review, and Stellium Literary Magazine, among other publications. She is a 2022 Hattie Fitz Walker Scholarship recipient, Fine Arts Work Center, and a Pushcart Prize nominee. In her spare time, Camille likes to cook and bake, practice judo, and watch way too many movies.
All right.
I guess it's my turn now. Okay. Before I read my first poem, how many of you guys have seen a house centipede? Put up your hand. A house centipede. It's also called a cake centipede. Oh, you have? Okay. See, I knew not many. Okay, so you shouldn't look at the screen if you're really squeamish about insects. 30 seconds, but this is a house centipede. It's a gangly looking thing. Would you believe these things can live up to 7 years? But my main interest, what I admire about them, this is one of the cuter ones, by the way. The older they get, the more harder they look. But, no, actually, it's intense. No, but what I admire about them is that if you catch one on a glue trap, it'll rip off as many legs as it needs to get free. So it'll be like this centipede worm hybrid. And oddly enough, that reminded me of Frida Kahlo's one of her famous paintings, Two Fridas.
Yeah.
I promise it makes sense in the poem. So as you can see, The more traditional Frida is decomposing, and then you have more modern Frida, she's gaining life. And I just saw that with the cave centipede. So, yeah. This one's titled There Are Two Fridas. Two Fridas holding hands in a house centipede stuck to a glue trap have more in common than recurring dreams. The Fridas are not watching you. The Fridas are gazing at the centipede, waiting for it to escape. They hold their archaic quarter smiles, waiting to let go of each other's hands, only when the writhing insect, matter-of-factly, rips off an 11 hind leg to break free, to dauntlessly continue in a newfound, deconstructed form. This next poem is titled The Mosquito Told the Girl to Jump. The mosquito told the girl to jump, and she did. She jumped down the curved stairway, but she didn't falter on the ruddy carpet stairs and crash into the wall or abrade her head against their descending edges. The girl floated. Something picked her up and carried her along the banister's bend. The girl glided to the bottom of the stairs, only to have the mystery drop her. Disbelief masking gravity's impact on her knees. Bruised, she thought it might be fun to do it again, but even the mosquito knew to stay quiet. Okay, so this next poem is a shaped, it's a concrete list poem. It's titled A Good Lie. So, A Good Lie. Brought to you by translucent anthropod yes men, filler-filled protein powder, payday loans, self-inflicted cloaks of indifference, professionalism's fronted underbelly, third-grade political oratory, job security, marginal raises, crypto rug pulls, new car finance managers, negative equity, self-helps, dissembling, hypocrisy, no refunds, TV, streaming apps, AT&T customer service, employee wellness programs, flavored kombucha, Instagram ads for productivity apps, Daddy Bezos. Shout out to Jam for that last one, Daddy Bezos. This next poem is based on, Eraserhead by David Lynch. And it's titled, Oh, How You Wanted Water. God, can I have a cup of water? You wouldn't dare add when you wanted it, but after your tongue dries out, the cup appears on the table. Thanks, God, you say with a gracious smile. In front of you, center table, is a water. The cup is full, only the cup is filled with debris and not only filled with water. The debris rises to a loose layer at the top of the glass. It is water, you think. You can drink it, but before you do, you search frantically for a mesh strainer. You can't find one. Aren't you thirsty? Yes, I am. So drink. You extend your arm to lift the glass below your nostrils, and you see why the top of the glass is cloudy. Sebum plugs, dandruff, porous pockets of flesh, all of which are puffed up with oily membranes. You try to pour the cup onto the table to avoid swallowing the debris. It doesn't pour. The water tilts, the debris tilts, but it doesn't spill onto the table. Isn't it water? Yes, God, it is, you say, attempting to appease any annoyance directed towards you. You peer at what appears to be ash and erasers shavings that you're tilting to stir, floating to the bottom of the glass. You feel a sharp glare, so you suppress a grimace as you gulp what should be a divided beverage. To distract yourself, you glimpse out of the window, only to see Henry clutch onto a large craft paper bag as he unwittingly scurries from parenthood and the achromatic background of your neighborhoods, city sterile buildings, and omnipresent looming industrious haze, mindlessly stepping into a murky puddle. At that moment, you could have sworn you were still when you peered down at Henry, but his misstep into the concrete-colored puddle made the debris solution in your glass abruptly ripple. So this next one is titled It's a Little Screams. It's little screams. There are swarms of 7-day parasites in the air. Piles of them older than 7 days coat the ground. Mounds of speculate dry wings meet your barefoot step. Though you can barely see the clammy, black molded wall, your hands graze between each stride, you notice there are people here, and they're screaming. They're screaming, but not in an expected terror-filled tone. Some people are screaming louder than everyone else. Others act like they're the only ones screaming. Others wail while holding splinters in their tiny thumbs, as if with the heft of beams, schlepping, peering at you between neck-thrusted cries. Some people don't scream, they laugh at the splintered wailers, the indulgent screamers themselves, and others, between the screams and laughs, face the wall, keep to themselves. But you focus on the screams. You only focus on the screams, because you know behind the screams is silence. Screams of preposition, silence the red herring that makes sense. You feel like it's time to leave, but you're already there, screaming. You're already there, screaming. This next one is another list poem. It's titled, It Smells Like Human. So, plaque, maple syrup wax, styrofoam breath, humid pungent sweat, the cold smell from cough phlegm, dried mucus, freshly clipped toenails, sodium nitrate burps, carbon monoxide farts, compressed toe cheese debris, the smell of a sneeze, the taste of a new shoe store, pheromones and unscented Dove soap and not a perfume, blood and irony sweat, tart ozone, carbon dioxide lingering on outside worn clothes, unwashed jeans, tasteless smells, smells with taste, a maternity ward, the sterile silence of a morgue, burnt patience, heavy angst, greasy scalp, short bursts of compassion, curiosity's tang. This next one is titled The Real Optimists Are. The real optimists are the people who think they can gorge other beings to digest their harm, the people who would happily starve than eat their over-leavened, rotting stores, the people who think others must swallow their stale boiled potatoes whole, without water, the people who have warm bodies yet hot curdled milk porridge streaming out of each orifice, spilling into stubby stone bowls onto the ground, the people who collect the stone bowls to fling rather than pitifully pass around, the people who believe other beings deserve bowls thrown at their stoic, garden-cultivating faces. This next one is titled, And When It Gets Too Human. And when it gets too human, your hands can howl with gestures of their own, your throat can tighten without cause, you can brush your teeth with face wash and cleanse your face with toothpaste, you can pick your scalp, nose, and stammer through your presentation. You can bite into that nice smelling bar of soap and not hastily rinse your mouth. You can wail or cackle inconsolably after sex. Or you could do the same after masturbation. You can foam at the mouth and have your toes curl into their pads. And when it gets too human, women can chew their blood clots until they dissolve, and men can consume popsicles of their semen. And people can slide their feet on carpet until their souls are raw, ready to leave their bodies. And children can nod to the soundless music they cannot hear. And each scream can step on the other until they're one continuous sound. And when it gets too human, intentions can cannibalize themselves so love can have more space. And tenderness can stop being the pride that couldn't make enough wages. And meaning can remain the ant you love, but won't shut up. This last one is called The Mosquitoes Don't Need a Reason To. Mosquitoes don't need a reason to whine, wander restlessly into the kitchen, eat their boredom, eat their regrets, eat their sorrow, eat their pain, share this pain with a cluster of words, use this word cluster to spread lies, eat dirt, get a once meaningful tattoo, swallow a hit of acid, wear mismatching socks, dye their hair green, blue, blonde, jump off a plane, put their head in the oven, put a shotgun to their head, use word-clustered lies to shoot others in the head, exist, be anxious, be enraged, be insatiable, be the flighty insect, the Cretaceous prick in command. That's it. It's mine.
Hi everybody, my name is Jan and I have the absolute joy of introducing Noah Braxton. Noah Loveless is an MFA candidate in poetry from Maine. He graduated summa cum laude from the University of Maine in 2020 with degrees in English and philosophy. His work benefits from the merging of these fields, using poetry as a self and wrong. This is what we get for doing it improv. Using poetry as a unique means of understanding and asking questions about topics like experience, self, and memory. During his undergraduate career, he won UMaine's Greenfield Prize for portfolio of poems, and he received a McGillicuddy Humanities Fellowship, which he used to research the philosophy of Walter Benjamin. He is further interested in the wide field of language and the depth and dynamicism of words. He lives in South Bend with his partner and 2 cats and likes to bake. He is an assistant editor of Action Books, and I am so excited for all of us to get entangled in all of his wonderful words. So we could welcome Noah Loveless.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, I'm also a big fan of house centipedes. All right, so this first one is it's called Bare Course. Bare course, not the finger, till spun, here though one, then might not, onto sear front, the thrush in sun, sate, unmissed, the undone, and tons. Make born tall, roam the hand, tomes of tendons drag, out the unspoke, unslick matter, bind, bought bare, mired, spoke, may thinner air, dissonance, unhomed dearling, made, thorn, broke of much, spilt fruit mote, a teamed down, tired, miles and unearthed, peerless front minute of ond, your middle cut file places, on behalf, smoke, tome, age bin, foma, mean, measure run, name tired, retake, might spy, speak, arrear, mantle, hearness, burrow. All right, this next one is crave. Has add the has spun, dimmed, spake, lapping, lobule, how some, risk, chin, rut, reach, ton, house, husk, lay, happed, clump, lay, conically, days, trait, slat, dine, thrown, redder, spilt, spots, finery, he is so, raise under the same stamping, dine, inum, as it, slaw, rate, mode, ratted, made, drow, gone, light, slicked, reach, low, even waiters, headline, hand, bone, edged it, side, load, stem, stint, though, dud, haven, moaz, high, braid, latch, stepping, spat, coastal, have, numerously, haven, preamble, light, milder stare, tired, rutted, fanned, wid, stove, oath, out, counter height, over rain, moshi, heave. All right, this next one is called Lightning Flick. Hum, hum. Titled foxglove, matching thrift, brisk, twill, team, mighting bow, lop, how, stime, lane, right, then, thrill, cloud hand, flat, leading man, momentous, mond, hopeful wound, spool, light, light, awash, stires, middle chair, leashed, horn, blush, other, grade, heat, tree, late, neat, or glend, stole, fresh gland, and, great. Spine, model of repayoff, the ray, rife, then thumbs, frightened high, flock, hone hemmed, pleases. Longed sands, high redden, runged, astute, filtered, ombar, the non, and the non, as those caves, mere, bill, tangle, scent, handle, standing, on raid, happen, mast, closed, then bridle way, outer, to bite. All right, this next one is a one long poem, but I broke it into 3 parts. Timber spacious stood, cellars made of ouse spoon, reignoble places spied, slow cycles, pans, late look, reaggregated same, levered into faux face mash, gods, gnats, claim, scent, chair, here, higher, hairs done, gone, tame, stung, white. All wish heed decreeps has out the day lead, field, reignoble, lurched lowly hand, teams dressed crease long, tree bent washed, freight, hand, tallow, flunged feeling lung, trying repeat curve two, ample, lush amassed window, tin hair, mince, woe, whole timmed breaks bold runt, 2, while scram, be lust mound, deed men still lid lush, did Arthur write this, 2 tons, done, wisp, wish, indeed, mast, brooks, de-erupt up, a fine anagogy, beach, comb, behead, load, lap, steer, raided, boarded, sword, lung, steam, modal, low, land, woad, mono, hymn, spade, crew, can, made, one, semicircular, meadow, bands, here's one, how his hair is boding wishly, just too longly right, up rock, stall, within matching, able as ever, oaten, stump, push, one strip, lum, energy, trimmed, meat, prehive, abena, forward, hush, spindle, may spoke, frack, raison, locum, tenons, stripes, folds, makes, freshen, into 2 brick on plate. All right, this last one, how sun-like body to scrape heaps lint want to is on smoke, stilling stirp, stresses, lation, pura, mex, trove, unturned to scent, resent, lentil, sprout, mad, tomb, eerie lichen of irrespective petal, licks, bin, how, flush, timorous, oh, some more, some, oh, heave, in trial, strung, hatch, to fear, froze, tame, tried, untack, miscall, stole, bird, pegs, gore, gets, slow, stopping, bell, dreed, aid, mask, use, locality, steam, space, wide, unlush, dusk, swollen, spoon, phrase, stand, wood, hole, laid, orderly, ache, wasters, undone, longer miles, to take, pages, raided, outer, tricky years, haven stood lonely, house, to lend, wig, drop, waiting, pricked, water, treating not, plus, not, stooping, picks, stars, lagged, dug, and fresh, molten void, mill, doll, habitate, stretch, tread, hat, willing out, go, mid-heaven, peaked, stimes, pins, molded. All right, that's all for me.
I feel so excited to have heard that out loud. Sitting in workshop, it's been like super exciting, and anticipation was building for that moment, so I feel like a little fangirl. Anyway, next up we have the shimmering, wonderful Ollie Peters to read for us. Ollie Peters attempts to weird the word while writing about corporeal and corporate weirdness. She received her BA from the University of Iowa. She is based in the Midwest. She's a Sparks editorial assistant for Notre Dame Review, and she is a brilliant poet. Let's give it up for
Watching the formation of a chrysalis and metamorphosing. Occupies self with garish secrete, lurid green, vital from nape, burgeon, clutch, cuticle, fresh, rearrange, occupant's face, scalp, thrash, kill form, for promise of form, kill form, bout clobbered by whip of rearrange, occupy spinneret, in punctual, tarry, cannibal, digest, eat, self, collapse, in glassine, vaginate, arrange, reorder, orifice, gorge, ego, carcass, oozy, inverted, plummet, fathom, knotted, embody, possess, reorder, formal, revulse, flesh, uncommitted to face, committed to ling, to leg, to eye, repossess, occupant, order, arrange, I am, substance, repossessing. Okay. Variations on the circle chant, a screamo song. We're in the garden where bubbled dew on curdle dead leaf is dirge spittle, where the sky-bound, fine-drawn circle of our bloodline screamed open, then clasped back smaller at a loss. I speak no thing, no use, into my palm, a phone once corded to yours, wire and lifeline no longer mewling. Your mouth stuck poised around a final horrific vowel. Mold crud garden as dew spit grave plot. Sky whelm buckled circle new entire. Thingless squall, palm limp. Why, oh why, oh why, oh why, oh. Okay, I don't actually know if I'm gonna read that one yet. Okay. Watching the improvised, invented language monologue in Furia. Furia is a contemporary dance piece created by choreographer Leah Rodriguez. Enter stage loin wet. Underwear distended and glistening from within. Find, light, mark, stand, reach. Yank blood purple organ from crotch, hoist and re-sound, sound, tongue tilted toward freedom, mouth not a mimetic, mouth a non-mouth, a uninformed whirl, a future reform, non-mouth a letter, agonizer, bleed pure, unword, re-sound past mass production of sound into declaration of sound, inimitable tilt, sound not free in the eyesing of tongue and mouth, repeat. I hear no thing, I hear raw. Was it the exalted fluid me? Did it in you? Was I in it you? Word is raw organ, crotch birth, yanked from glistening loin wet under. Word is fuming, drum is eye is hoisted, livid. All those breaths, I work myself up into a frenzy. Okay, this is called Interim Housekeeper. A pube. Offensive or an offer on the lip of the toilet lid. In Sunday school, one of us drew God as a germ, an ugly chimeric splotch, a gross exegesis. The interstice is the stuff of a past guest, and deliverance and service to you. My golden rag billows with kingship over the surfaces of this room. I kill 99.99% of the germs with each vicious swipe. But the 0.01% blooms into a Wineric firmament in the bowl of the toilet. Before the flush, I pictured germ against the porcelain, sanguine lacunae like iodine-laid lakes gleaming onyx unpeels into the crepuscular vermilion melt of sky. Wherever my index roves, any body of water reflects your flesh. A semic mouth, stupid, squiggling line, nose as hole punch, internode, eye, demotic eye, and the vertiginous exit beyond this hodgepodge assemblage of face is the dimmest aperture, the hemisphere's logical cull, a pipe spittling a Surrey estuary that hurls into the miscellany of stars. Before the flush, germ and I were a milky opalescence, a scatter of light in the encompassment. A new rush of water returns me. Face a phase, body an interloper in some eternal interment. This elision is in service to no meter, and each line is a burial. Incommodious. Google talks at me so good. She pronounces it with heft. There's directive in the carve of the second nose, deepest most swoop. I poise to repeat, mouth agape, swiveled upward like ready for communion with the stuff of an oyster, gills, anus, stomach, heart, intestines. I suck down air and practice, speak now. She says, sounds like you said and commodious instead of in. Which one of us is the fallible reflection? I press how to improve, and she's a succorer. Pets my hair, tells me, raise your tongue so it's high in your mouth and relax your lips. There should be a space of one finger between your teeth. I bite my index, which is sectile, but not as a mango is, easily persuaded to unfurl for a knife. It's more like pickaxing the pit, grab celery by both ends and crack open. Now you've got to the endosperm. I've never had an oyster, but I'm in conversation. I voiced concern about botulism instead of botulism, and everyone slid their gaze downward. I didn't hear a word from you. Google would have corrected me everything. I sat unrefined like leftover yolk. I ate the albume, chalazé, the blastoderm like stomach ball. I coughed up cholesterol, phospholipids, bilirubin. I saw what's in my liver. I'm what I searched for. What's in Urban Outfitters' stomach egg? Facebook meat definition, anatomy of gold bile. What's the retro world market? Oyster, Ottoman, incommodious, bath mat pronunciation. Let me explain. I need things like anybody else. Sentences are a warped portrait. Information is so toothsome. This oral cavity is so unmanageable. This is my last poem. It's called Prescription Refill. I wrote it a long time ago, but I still think it's good. Prescription Refill. The underripe crabapple is ailed with one sick black eye. It orbits the nadir of my palm, vaunts a circular, acicular precision, the crystalline path of my tread to the CVS on Fairview and Grand. The demand to execute, work, lunch, love, man, ran to echo in a widely read eulogy. and my leaching chemical defect meet at the turn of each month. I outstep a bouquet of caution tape caught in the grimacing hook of a twig. I turn clockwise, turn right on summit, listen for the slippery whistle of a bicycle wheel until a caw-macaw bird call. The apple cuts across my lifeline, back and forth like a metronome. Malum, malum, apple or evil. The earth turns counterclockwise on its axis. Tangled in opposition, we coil around beauty, opal-flecked rock, elongated golden necks. The cherry tomato unzipping with heavy wet, swallowed by an uncareful esophagus. Has nobody perfectly learned the Heimlich maneuver? Malum, malum, apple or evil. I arrive at the pharmacy and they ask for my birthday.
That was tremendous. Let's have a big round of applause for all of our poets. And for the second years who stepped up to introduce them. Come back here next week for our prose writers. Same bat time, same bat channel. But we will have different shrimp, I promise. But in the meantime, there's shrimp and some drinks, and please stay, enjoy, celebrate our poets, ask them, how did you come up with those words in that order? And if anyone happens to have a bottle opener, it would be a great assist. Thanks.